That tiny green film floating on your local pond might have more protein than the steak in your fridge. Most people see it and think algae, maybe fish food at best. But what if those same microscopic plants contain up to 45% protein by dry weight, making them one of the densest protein sources on Earth? While we're busy debating grass-fed versus grain-fed beef and dropping $50 on tubs of protein powder, nature's been quietly growing complete protein sources that ancient civilizations survived on. Plants that fed warriors before battles, sustained monks through winters, and built entire empires without a single animal product. Some of these plants match or exceed the amino acid profile of eggs. Others grow so fast they literally double their biomass overnight. And the best part? Many are probably growing within walking distance of where you're sitting right now. Let's start with something you've definitely seen but never considered eating. Duckweed. Those tiny, floating plants covering still water aren't just pond decoration. They're protein factories that NASA studied for space missions because they grow faster than almost anything else while delivering nutrition that rivals conventional protein sources. Certain species reach 40 to 45% protein by dry weight. Compare that to beef, which typically sits around 25 to 30%. The protein quality matches that benchmark too, containing all 9 essential amino acids your body can't produce on its own. In Thailand and Laos, people have been eating duckweed for generations. They call it kai nam and toss it fresh into soups and salads. The taste, mild, slightly vegetable-like, similar to watercress. You can harvest it from clean water sources or grow it yourself in controlled conditions. Some people dry it into powder for smoothies. Others cook it like spinach. The growth rate alone makes it remarkable. Under the right conditions, duckweed can double its mass every 2 days. That's not a typo. 2 days. Now here's something that'll surprise you about protein diversity. Lupin beans. Ancient Romans ate them. Egyptian pharaohs valued them enough to include them in tombs. These Mediterranean legumes contain 36 to 40% protein by dry weight, matching soybeans while significantly outpacing most meats. The amino acid balance? Excellent. Studies show lupin protein helps lower cholesterol and increases satiety, which means you feel fuller longer. What makes lupin especially interesting is the plant itself. Beautiful flowering stalks that also fix nitrogen in soil, making them beneficial for crop rotation. In Mediterranean countries, you'll find brined lupin beans sold as snacks, eaten like edamame. The flour increasingly appears in protein-enriched breads and pasta across Europe. Yes, they require processing. The beans contain bitter compounds that need removal through soaking and boiling. But once prepared, they deliver a mild, slightly nutty flavor that works whole as snacks or ground into flour for baking. The question becomes, why did North American agriculture ignore them? Partly because processing takes patience. Partly because soybeans dominated the protein crop conversation. But for anyone dealing with soy allergies or just wanting protein diversity, lupin offers an alternative that's been feeding people for 3,000 years. Then there's alfalfa. The name literally means father of all foods in Arabic, which should tell you something about how people historically viewed this plant. For over 2,000 years, it's been cultivated primarily as livestock feed, but farmers knew what they were doing. This humble plant packs 35 to 40% protein in its dried leaves. Even the sprouts, which are what most people eat, contain 4 to 5 grams per 100 grams fresh weight. What sets alfalfa apart? Root depth. While most plants pull nutrients from the top foot or 2 of soil, alfalfa sends roots 10 to 20 feet down, accessing minerals that shallow-rooted plants can't reach. This makes it exceptionally nutrient-dense beyond just protein. Vitamins K and C, calcium, potassium, iron. Studies confirm cholesterol-lowering effects and provide phytoestrogens that may support hormonal balance. Growing alfalfa sprouts at home takes minimal effort. Jar sprouting method. 3 to 5 days from seed to harvest. The fresh sprouts are crisp, mild, perfect for sandwiches and salads. Dried leaf can become tea or powder for smoothies. The reason it got overlooked for human consumption? It was so valuable as animal feed that we forgot we could eat it ourselves. But if you want to grow your own protein-rich sprouts year-round with minimal space and effort, alfalfa delivers, moving to something that's gaining serious recognition in Western countries now, but has sustained populations elsewhere for generations. Moringa. Every part of this fast-growing tropical tree serves a purpose, but the leaves stand out nutritionally. Dried moringa leaves contain 25 to 30% protein with all 9 essential amino acids. Fresh leaves provide 6 to 9 grams per 100 grams. But protein barely scratches the surface of what moringa offers. Gram for gram, dried moringa leaves contain more calcium than milk, more vitamin C than oranges, more potassium than bananas. In regions where food security remains challenging, moringa literally keeps people alive. The tree grows rapidly in tropical and subtropical climates, producing edible leaves, pods, seeds, even roots. Traditional use spans Africa, Asia, and South America, where it's served both as food and medicine for centuries. Research confirms what traditional knowledge always maintained: genuine anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. You can harvest young leaves and use them like spinach in soups, curries, stir-fries. The taste leans mildly peppery, similar to watercress. Dried powder works in smoothies, soups, or as a straight nutritional supplement. Young seed pods, called drumsticks in South Asian cuisine, get eaten as vegetables. For anyone in warm climates or with greenhouse access, growing your own moringa tree means tapping into one of nature's most complete nutritional packages. But there's another group of plants that might be even more accessible for most people, especially if you're interested in sprouting. Mung beans have fed Asian populations for 4,000 years, and what they offer goes beyond just protein content. Dried mung beans deliver 24% protein, and your body actually absorbs and uses it efficiently. That bioavailability matters more than raw numbers. The beans pack folate, magnesium, and fiber. But here's what separates mung beans from their legume cousins: digestion. Most beans cause gas and bloating. Mung beans, minimal digestive distress. Sprouted mung beans take this even further. The sprouting process dramatically increases vitamin C content while making the protein more accessible to your digestive system. Fresh sprouts contain around 3 grams of protein per 100 grams, plus enzymes that actively support digestion. Traditional preparation spans continents: Indian curries and dal, Chinese stir-fries, Vietnamese spring rolls. You can sprout them at home in 3 to 5 days, creating fresh protein-rich food with almost zero effort. Western cuisine never developed a mung bean tradition, which explains their relative obscurity here. But across Asia, they've sustained populations for 4,000 years, filling, nutritious, gentle on the digestive system. For anyone wanting protein-rich legumes without the uncomfortable aftermath, mung beans are perfected over millennia to nourish without causing problems. Now we're heading to the Mediterranean, where laborers building pyramids and gladiators building strength relied on the same bean. Fava beans trace back to the Bronze Age. Egyptian workers, Roman fighters, everyone valued them. Dried favas contain 26% protein with solid amino acid coverage. They're loaded with fiber, folate, and manganese. Fresh beans provide 7 to 8 grams per 100 grams. Research confirms cardiovascular support and blood sugar regulation. The plants themselves improve soil by fixing nitrogen, benefiting whatever you grow next season. In spring, They produce striking white flowers with black markings before developing large pods filled with flat kidney-shaped beans. Cool season cultivation made them staples across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Young fava beans can be eaten fresh, raw, or lightly cooked. Mature dried beans get soaked and cooked into stews, purees, and the legendary Middle Eastern breakfast dish, ful meidams, a hearty fava stew that's fueled morning routines for thousands of years. One important caveat: some people of Mediterranean descent have G6PD deficiency, making them sensitive to fava beans. But for the vast majority, favas are safe and remarkably nutritious. North America largely abandoned them because they require shelling and preparation. But if you want to grow protein-rich crops in cool weather when most vegetables won't thrive, favas excel. They're the strength-building bean that's been powering hard work since ancient times. The Aztec Empire valued amaranth so highly, they used it in religious ceremonies and collected it as tribute. When Spanish conquistadors banned amaranth cultivation to suppress indigenous culture, they targeted one of the America's most nutritious crops. Amaranth grain contains 14 to 18% protein. Quality matters more than quantity here. It contains lysine, an amino acid typically limited in other grains, creating a more complete amino acid profile. Studies confirm amaranth protein is highly digestible and comparable to milk protein in quality. The grain delivers iron, magnesium, phosphorus, and manganese. But there's more. The leaves are edible too, containing 3 to 4 grams of protein per 100 grams fresh weight, plus significant vitamins A and C. Amaranth grows as a dramatic tall plant with cascading seed heads in burgundy, gold, or green. It thrives in hot, dry conditions where many crops struggle. You can harvest tiny seeds and cook them like rice or quinoa. Pop them like miniature popcorn. Grind them into flour. The taste leans slightly nutty and earthy. Traditional Mexican cuisine mixes popped amaranth with honey to make alegria candy. The cooked grain works in porridge, soups, or mixed with other grains. Amaranth survived the colonial ban because indigenous people continued growing it in secret. Today, it's recognized as one of the most nutritionally complete plant foods available. For anyone wanting protein-rich, heat-tolerant crops with edible grains and leaves, amaranth is the ancient superfood that refused to disappear. Flaxseed represents one of humanity's oldest crops, cultivated for over 6,000 years. Ancient Greeks, Egyptians, and Romans all valued it. Linum usitatissimum was grown for fiber to make linen and for nutritious seeds. Flaxseed contains 18 to 20% protein. But that's not the main story here. What makes flax remarkable is the combination protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and lignans with antioxidant properties. Ground flax seed provides about 1.3 grams of protein per tablespoon. The omega-3 content stands out. Flaxseed is the richest plant source of alpha-linolenic acid, an essential omega-3 fatty acid your body needs but can't produce. Research confirms regular consumption supports heart health, reduces inflammation, and may support hormonal balance through lignin content. Here's the critical preparation detail. Whole flax seeds pass through your digestive system intact. You must grind them to access the nutrition. Ground flax seed, also called flax meal, stores in the refrigerator or freezer to preserve freshness. Add ground flax to smoothies, oatmeal, yogurt, or baked goods. Some people use it as an egg substitute in vegan baking. 1 tablespoon of ground flax mixed with 3 tablespoons of water creates a gel that functions like 1 egg in recipes. Flaxseed never truly got forgotten, but its full nutritional value often gets overlooked. People know it's healthy without realizing they're getting a complete package: protein, healthy fats, fiber. For anyone wanting to boost both protein and omega-3s simultaneously, flaxseed is the ancient crop that modern nutrition science keeps validating. Sesame is among the oldest oilseed crops known to humanity. Cultivated for at least 3,500 years, it appears in ancient Assyrian mythology and was valued across Africa, Asia, and the Middle East for oil and nutrition. Sesame seeds contain about 20% protein with decent amino acid coverage. They're particularly rich in methionine, an amino acid often limited in legumes. 2 tablespoons provide about 3 grams of protein plus significant calcium, iron, magnesium, and zinc. What makes sesame special is protein combined with beneficial fats. The seeds contain sesamol and sesamin, lignans with antioxidant properties. Research suggests sesame consumption supports bone health due to high calcium content and may help regulate blood pressure. Sesame seeds come in various colors: white, black, brown, red, with slightly different flavor profiles. Traditional use includes tahini sesame paste, halva Middle Eastern sweets, and toppings for breads and pastries. In East Asian cuisine, sesame oil is crucial flavoring. You can toast sesame seeds to enhance their nutty flavor, sprinkle them on salads and stir-fries, blend them into tahini for hummus and dressings, or use them in traditional sweets. Whole seeds provide fiber, while tahini provides smooth, protein-rich spread. Sesame never disappeared, but often gets relegated to garnish status when it deserves recognition as legitimate protein and mineral source. For anyone avoiding dairy who needs calcium, sesame provides more calcium per serving than milk. It's the ancient seed that's been hiding nutritional power in plain sight. Sunflowers are native to North America, where indigenous peoples domesticated them over 4,000 years ago. Helianthus annus provided oil, food, medicine, and dye long before European contact. When explorers brought sunflowers back to Europe, they became a major crop, particularly in Russia, where they transformed agriculture. Sunflower seeds contain about 21% protein with good balance of essential amino acids. A quarter cup of seeds provides about 6 grams of protein plus significant vitamin E, magnesium, selenium, and healthy fats. Studies show regular sunflower seed consumption supports heart health and provides anti-inflammatory benefits. The seeds are also rich in phytosterols, plant compound, DS, that can help reduce cholesterol absorption in your digestive system. Traditional use included eating seeds raw or roasted, grinding them into meal, or extracting the oil for cooking. You can eat sunflower seeds raw, roasted and salted as a snack, or as a butter similar to peanut butter. Sunflower seed butter has become popular as a nut-free alternative for people with allergies who still want that creamy, protein-rich spread. The seeds can also be sprouted for added nutrition and enzyme content that makes them even more digestible. Growing sunflowers is remarkably easy, which is partly why they spread so successfully worldwide. The plants are vigorous, drought-tolerant once established, and the large flower heads produce hundreds of seeds per plant. Plus, they're absolutely beautiful to follow the sun across the sky before the seeds mature and the heads bow down with their weight. Sunflower seeds are common enough that we forget how nutritionally impressive they actually are. For anyone wanting a protein-rich, allergy-friendly seed that's easy to grow and incredibly versatile, sunflowers are the North American native that conquered the world and came back to remind us of its value. Hemp has one of the most unfortunate histories of any food crop in existence. Cannabis sativa was cultivated for fiber, oil, and nutrition for thousands of years across Asia, Europe, and eventually the Americas. Then prohibition targeted all cannabis plants and hemp agriculture nearly disappeared, despite having no psychoactive properties whatsoever. Hemp seeds contain about 31% protein, with all 9 essential amino acids, in a ratio that's considered ideal for human nutrition. 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds provide about 10 grams of complete protein. The seeds are also rich in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in a beneficial ratio, plus magnesium, iron, and zinc. What makes hemp protein special is its digestibility. It contains 2 proteins, edestin and albumin, that are easily digested and used by the body without the digestive stress some people experience with other protein sources. Research shows hemp protein supports immune function and provides anti-inflammatory benefits throughout the body. Hemp seeds have a mild nutty flavor that works in numerous applications. You can eat them raw, toasted, or as hemp hearts, which are shelled seeds. They blend seamlessly into smoothies, sprinkle onto salads and yogurt, or get ground into hemp protein powder for supplements. Hemp milk is becoming a popular dairy alternative with a creamy texture and subtle flavor. The plants are incredibly sustainable in ways that matter more than ever. Hemp grows quickly, requires minimal pesticides, improves soil health rather than depleting it, and every part of the plant is useful. Fiber for textiles and building materials, seeds for food, and oil for cooking and cosmetics. Hemp cultivation is finally legal again in many places, and the nutritional value is being rediscovered by people who never knew what was lost. For anyone wanting a complete protein source with the perfect balance of healthy fats, hemp seeds are the comeback crop that never should have been banned in the first place. Lentils are one of humanity's oldest cultivated crops, with archaeological evidence going back 13,000 years. Lens culinaris appears in the Bible, fed ancient civilizations throughout the Middle East and Mediterranean, and remains a dietary staple across South Asia, the Middle East, and increasingly worldwide as people rediscover traditional foods. Lentils contain about 25 to 26% protein when dried, with one cooked cup providing about 18 grams of protein. They're also extraordinarily high in fiber, folate, iron, and manganese. What makes lentils special is how quickly they cook compared to other dried legumes. Most varieties are ready in 20 to 30 minutes without pre-soaking, making them accessible for quick weeknight meals. Studies show that regular lentil consumption supports heart health, helps regulate blood sugar levels, promotes digestive health due to high fiber content, and supports weight management due to high satiety that keeps you feeling full longer. The protein quality is good, though, like most legumes, lentils are lower in methionine and cysteine. Lentils come in many varieties with distinct personalities: brown, green, red, black, yellow. Each has slightly different flavors and cooking properties. Red lentils cook down into a creamy puree, perfect for Indian dal. Green and brown lentils hold their shape better, ideal for salads and side dishes where you want texture. Traditional preparations span the globe because every culture that grew lentils developed beloved recipes. Indian dal, Middle Eastern mujadara, Ethiopian misir wat, French lentil soup. They're filling, nutritious, and economical, which made them valuable everywhere. You can cook lentils in soups and stews, make them into veggie burgers or meatballs, puree them into dips, or simply cook and season them as a protein-rich side dish. Sprouted lentils add crunch and fresh nutrition to salads. Lentils never really got forgotten. They've been feeding humanity continuously for 13,000 years without interruption. But they often get dismissed as poverty food when they should be celebrated as one of the most perfect protein sources nature offered. For anyone wanting affordable, quick-cooking, protein-rich food that stores for years without refrigeration, lentils are the ancient answer that's still feeding billions. Chickpeas, also called garbanzo beans, have been cultivated for at least 7,500 years. Cica arietinum originated in the Middle East and spread throughout the Mediterranean, India, and eventually worldwide as trade routes connected civilizations. Today, they're a cornerstone of Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and Indian cuisine. Dried chickpeas contain about 20% protein with one cooked cup, providing about 15 grams of protein. They're also high in fiber, folate, iron, phosphorus, and manganese. Studies show that chickpea consumption supports heart health, helps manage blood sugar, promotes satiety and weight management, and supports digestive health through prebiotic fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. What makes chickpeas remarkable is their versatility. They can be cooked whole, mashed, ground into flour, or even roasted as a crunchy snack. The liquid from canned chickpeas called fava can even be whipped like egg whites for vegan meringues and desserts. Traditional uses include hummus, chickpea and tahini dip, falafel, spiced chickpea fritters, chana masala, Indian spiced chickpeas, and chickpea flour flatbreads, like socca and farinata. Every culture that adopted chickpeas created signature dishes because the beans are so adaptable. You can buy chickpeas dried and soak them overnight before cooking, or use canned chickpeas for convenience. Roasted chickpeas make an excellent crunchy snack. Chickpea flour called besan or gram flour is used in batters, flatbreads, and even as an egg substitute in vegan cooking. Chickpeas have maintained popularity better than many legumes, partly because hummus became a global phenomenon. But their full nutritional value as a protein source is often overlooked. For anyone wanting a filling, versatile, protein-rich legume that works in both savory and creative applications, chickpeas are the ancient bean that's having a well-deserved modern moment. Black beans are native to the Americas, where they've been cultivated for over 7,000 years. Phaseolus vulgaris includes not just black beans, but kidney beans, pinto beans, and many other varieties. But black beans have a special place in Latin American cuisine and nutrition. Dried black beans contain about 21 to 22% protein, with one cooked cup providing about 15 grams of protein. They're exceptionally high in fiber, folate, manganese, and antioxidants. In fact, black beans have among the highest antioxidant levels of any bean, particularly anthocyanins in their dark skin. Research shows that regular black bean consumption supports heart health, helps regulate blood sugar and insulin sensitivity, promotes digestive health, and provides significant antioxidant protection. The combination of protein, fiber, and slow-digesting carbohydrates makes them excellent for sustained energy. Traditional preparation in Latin America includes cooking black beans with onions, garlic, cumin, and bay leaves for frijoles negros. They're served as a side dish, mashed and refried in soups, or as a main component of rice and beans. A combination that creates a complete protein. You can cook dried black beans after overnight soaking, or use canned beans for convenience. They work in soups, stews, salads, burritos. Yes, black bean brownies are a thing, and they're surprisingly good. And as a base for plant-based burgers, black beans represent the agricultural genius of indigenous American peoples, who domesticated and improved these nutritional powerhouses over thousands of years. For anyone wanting a protein-rich, fiber-packed, antioxidant-loaded food that's filling and delicious, black beans are the New World gift that deserves as much recognition as any superfood. Pumpkins are native to North America, cultivated by indigenous peoples for thousands of years. But while we've all carved jack-o'-lanterns, many people throw away one of the most nutritious parts. Cucurbita pepo seeds are nutritional gems. Pumpkin seeds contain about 30% protein, with a quarter cup providing about 9 grams of protein. They're also remarkably high in magnesium, zinc, iron, and healthy fats. Research shows pumpkin seed consumption supports prostate health, provides anti-inflammatory benefits, supports heart health, and the high zinc content supports immune function. Traditional use includes roasting and eating the seeds as snacks, grinding them into meal, or using pumpkin seed oil as a finishing oil in European cuisine. In Mexican cuisine, ground pumpkin seeds form the base of pipián, a rich green sauce. You can save and roast seeds from fresh pumpkins and winter squash, or buy pre-shelled seeds, pepitas, from stores. Roasted pumpkin seeds make excellent snacks, can be added to granola and trail mix, sprinkled on salads and soups, or blended into pesto and sauces. The seeds have a mild, nutty flavor that works in both sweet and savory applications. Some people even eat them with the shell on for extra fiber. Those shelled seeds, pepitas, are easier to digest and use in recipes. Pumpkin seeds got overlooked simply because we focused on the flesh and forgot about the seeds. But indigenous peoples knew the seeds were valuable nutrition. For anyone wanting a zinc-rich, protein-packed seed that's in season every fall and available year-round, pumpkin seeds are the autumn superfood that's been hiding inside the decoration. Soybeans have been cultivated in East Asia for over 5,000 years. Glycine max was so important to Chinese civilization that it was one of the 5 sacred grains. Dried, soybeans contain about 36 to 40% protein by dry weight, making them the highest protein legume on Earth. 1 cup of cooked soybeans provides about 29 grams of complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids. That's more protein than the same amount of ground beef, which typically provides about 26 grams. Soybeans are also rich in iron, calcium, B vitamins, and isoflavones, plant compounds that have been studied for their potential health benefits. Research shows soy consumption supports heart health, may support bone health, provides high-quality, complete protein, and can be part of a healthy diet for most people. Traditional Asian preparation methods include tofu, soy curds, tempeh, fermented soybeans, miso, fermented paste, soy sauce, edamame, fresh green soybeans, and soy milk. Each preparation method creates different textures, flavors, and nutritional profiles. Here's what makes soybeans the perfect ending to our list. They show how a single crop cultivated and refined over thousands of years became the foundation of protein nutrition for entire civilizations. Asian cultures developed sophisticated fermentation and preparation techniques that transformed soybeans into hundreds of different foods. Western adoption of soybeans has been more recent and sometimes controversial, with debates about GMOs, processing, and phytoestrogens. But in traditional Asian diets, where soybeans have been eaten for millennia, they're simply a normal, healthy part of balanced nutrition. You can buy soybeans fresh as edamame, dried for cooking like other beans, or in the many traditional forms like tofu, tempeh, and miso. Each offers different culinary possibilities while delivering exceptional protein. Soybeans represent the pinnacle of plant protein, the crop that proves you absolutely do not need meat to get complete high-quality protein. It's the protein king that's been wearing the crown for 5,000 years. Plants that most people walk past without a second glance, some floating on ponds, others growing in ditches, a few sitting in your pantry right now, each one delivering protein that rivals or exceeds what you'd get from meat. The question isn't whether plant protein can match animal protein anymore. The question is why we ever thought it couldn't.